Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler, and I'm coming to you live from San Francisco, California. And I also come to you from nerdrotic.com. And I am with my two co-hosts, my lovely and talented co-hosts, Dennis Bithoulkas in San Diego, California, and Jon Reed in Lake Tahoe. What is up, fellas?
Not much.
Tons is up, man. We've got The Gifted doing well. We got the Black Panther trailer just dropped, which was awesome. We got the New Mutants trailer that dropped, which is not my cup of tea, but you know, what can you do? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of Rebels, Star Wars Rebels we got back this week. So a lot of cool stuff, but you know, this is the Gifted podcast, so I'll contain my excitement for what I think is my favorite Gifted episode of the series so far. Maybe that's debatable, but I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff going on tonight. It made my night. I had a fun night watching this.
Yeah, man.
How about you, Gary?
Oh, dude, this was my favorite episode so far. Yeah, we're only 3 in, but we are reviewing The Gifted, episode 3, Exodus. And like we said in the previous podcast, we're going to see how long they can go with this whole X title motif they got going on now.
Season 5 is going to be really funny when they can't figure out other words with X in it. It'll be like, yeah,
accidentally, and yeah.
Totally.
Man. Totally.
Accidental.
So, this one starts out really with the first scene could have been very CW, but it was very Fox. It was a cool little scene between Eclipse, a little flashback between Eclipse and Lorna. And can I just say that, like, the girl playing Lorna, the lady playing Lorna, this is Polaris. This is how I've envisioned Polaris from the comic books. Like, they are really doing her right, and that whole, like, how she loves her mutant ability, and of course Eclipse doesn't. And there's a good reason. And we really do need to go into this, like, how mean this world is, like how dark and effed up this world is. And
but that's what I liked about the opening, was that it was like a more lighthearted, fun moment. It reminded me of those X-Men comics where they're playing baseball, and it's just a whole comic of, like, characters hanging out, talking to each other, usually characters that don't talk to each other a whole lot. Like right now we've got Lorna in jail and Eclipse kind of standing in as the leader of this group. And so they're apart, and we don't get a lot of seeing their relationship, which is a core part of the show. So it was cool to see, like, a good moment and a nice moment in this kind of dark, effed up world between two characters that we don't get to see on screen because they've been separated by the plot. So I really loved how good this opening was, because it could have gone super cheesy, but instead it was kind of like a bright star in a dark sea, right? I don't know. There's some analogy there.
Speaking of cheesy, that whole emphasis on magnetosphere when she's explaining
the magnetosphere.
I like that. I was like, it was cheesy. Yeah, I'll give you that completely. But sometimes a little bit of cheese is good, especially if you're from Wisconsin. But no, I
cheddar cheese and brie cheese and manchego cheese and Parmesan cheese, and yeah, I love me some cheese.
I love cheese, but hey, at least they weren't in a hallway talking about their feelings. Okay, they were talking about their mutant abilities outside,
on top of a car,
on top of a car. And he did a weird little light effect with his glass. Not as cool as flying, with her, with her accessories, which was good. My wife.
I like how they explained that
scene. But just amidst all the darkness, now I don't know if in this show she's aware she's Magneto's daughter. I'm kind of half thinking she is, but just her being positive, knowing all the crap she's been through. I think that was really cool. And then of course it flashes into her jail scene, and she's with Jace from Sentinel Services, who I'm really growing to hate. I mean, like, they're writing this guy. He's a pretty good bad guy. He's a pretty.
He should have stayed in Miami and been on the run from the law. Been on the run from the FBI rather than moving to Atlanta and becoming the man. He downgraded in careers, definitely, between his last 2 gigs.
He plays a good one. I mean, he's really good at being a dick. And he's trying to, get a deal going with Lorna, and this is where she's so in character. She's listening to it, but there's no way she's going to go along with it. This is freaking Magneto's daughter we're talking about here. So, dude, I love how it started out, and then
I did like the mention of the Oakwood riots as well. with an orphanage of mutants that attacked, which
Yeah,
we can only assume was the X Mansion.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, but the X Mansion's in Westchester, right?
I know that's the whole thing. It's just kind of weird that yeah, it's just.
I don't think it might not be the X Mansion, but it might
Do you
be
think it's a tie-in to
affiliated.
New Mutants?
Actually, it could be a tie-in to. I was just thinking about it now.
Legion.
Yes, that or also, what did the White Queen? Didn't she run a school of
Hellfire Club?
orphans? It wasn't the Hellfire Clubs. Remember?
Yeah. At one point, yeah, but that was in Genosha, I believe, or someplace. One of those like mutant-only towns. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they could bring it here,
Yeah. Well, they brought the Underground to Atlanta, which is random. I mean, I can't even think of a Marvel or X-Men story from the comics that took place in Atlanta. It's just, I guess they have tax rebates for shooting there at this point.
Yeah, that's where they have a Disney has a studio down there now. Isn't that where they're shooting Infinity War? So yes, there's tax breaks. That's exactly why they're there.
But yeah, no. So I love how they're dealing with Lorna. I also last week we were talking about the Von Struckers, and to kind of move into them running away in the middle of the night so that they can get help from Amy Acker's character, Caitlin's brother. So we were talking about how the Von Strucker twins were like a new version of the Strucker twins from the comic books. And I loved some of our comments last week on the video because it's so much more interesting that they're the descendants of them, not the actual like redone, right? So like the mom that we met, Cagney, that we met last week, is actually one of the Strucker twins from the comics. And these are her grandkids. Like that's the theory now. So I like that now we're seeing like that whatever happened with her grandma is that they were like mutants rights activists, and now their grandkids are having to go through all of this crazy hatefulness that they're dealing with. And so I like that they're playing off that. And I just wanted to kind of go back to what we had theorized before was like a redoing of the Von Strucker, the Strucker twins, the Von Strucker twins, and it's actually that they are related.
And then also the newspaper clipping too. We kind of miscued that. We thought it was Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. It's actually the Strucker twins.
Yeah, it's actually the grandma. So I think that's going to all be really interesting when it starts playing out. And so thank you to everyone who commented on the last video that brought us down that path.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, no, they do the stupidest thing this week and leave the underground, the safety of the underground, and go hang out with Caitlin's brother and their awful cousin who's really stupid.
Well, it's like Eclipse says, everyone has to make that mistake for themselves, and just so they learn, just so they find out for themselves.
Do you think this is the last time Caitlin's going to go through this, like, oh, this is the world I live in now moment? Or do you think they're going to retread that like they retread Oliver being guilty over having to kill people every week on Arrow? Like, exactly. Is that going to be the same like circular storytelling, or do you think that they're going to get past that?
Depends on the writer.
They're going to get past it. Well, Matt Nix is in charge. I think they'll get past it. I have faith in this guy now. 3 episodes in, total faith. But they also don't have 22 episodes to kill on a CW budget, so this is only going to be what 8 episodes.
10,
we're getting
10 episodes.
We're getting 10 episodes. Yeah. So no, I think she's done. What we got at the end was done, and yeah, it was cool that she had to go through it, and she did kind of bring her brother around, after he saw, the kind of overkill neighbors with guns. I'm glad the militia. I'm glad they mentioned, and we're going to just jump ahead to this part real quick, that they mentioned the $300,000 reward. Because up until then, I'm like, nah, you're kind of losing me here. That this is like what they need to do. I mean, we've got the hint that this is a very hateful world. Okay. And this is, this is still Bryan Singer's X-Men universe. Well, you got to show us why. We can't just like, oh, they're mutants, they hate us. Now, if you want to like put mutants in a real world sense, some of them probably would try to enslave non-powered people. I think that would be a legitimate fear.
Right.
And I think there would be some who would want them hunted and killed, but there had to be like show an incident like what the Brotherhood did, or an accident, or a mutant, like
The incident in New York.
Incident. Yeah. So where a mutant accidentally does something, kills a bunch of people, which they alluded to, but I think they need to kind of show it. This is a kind of a show me kind of thing for me. I don't know. That's the only nitpick I have.
What they're trying to play on, and I think that as we get further away from the incident at the school, the bullying incident at the school where Andy's powers are that when they wake up, right? Like, I think that the further we get away from that, the more they can go into what's happening outside in the real world. I think what they're trying to prey on right now is the idea that these like overprotective suburban parents are vilifying a whole group of people in the name of keeping their kids safe, when really it's about a $300,000 reward or whatever, right? Like, I think they're trying to do the like we're okay containing this threat for the safety of our children. And I think that that's an interesting argument, right? Because there's no wrong side there. You want people to be protective of their kids, and you also want to see these other kids who caused the school basically to explode because he's coming into his powers. You don't want to see him persecuted just because he was bullied into essentially blowing up, right? So I like that they're giving us a debate with two logical sides, and leading us down the path of where it might go in this kind of hate-fueled world that The Gifted takes place in. I don't know.
It takes place in American Nazi Germany. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's hardcore. I mean, and it's an alternate universe, and you can play with these kind of things in fiction, science fiction, superheroes, and it is interesting. And I'm not saying don't go there. It just give me a reason. Show me something. Like, is there a particular leader, or is there something? What's manipulating? Now, I think they're moving towards that. I think that's something we're going to get in the next couple episodes. We're going to find out. We're going to find out what the July 15th episode. Incident is.
What is the Sentinel organization a reaction to? Not just why does it exist, like, oh, because people are scared of mutants, but why is this step a natural reaction to something? What's that thing? And I agree. I think we need that thing.
And there's even a line with them, because later on in the episode, I know I'm getting ahead of, we're going all over the place here, but when Jace is called by that doctor, and he said he wanted the Strucker twins to
Dr.
Campbell, and he wanted to basically experiment on him, and even Jay said no, like we don't give mutants to contractors. Like, even he has a line, like he has some, and this is right after he had that little scene where I guess he's texting his wife or partner, whatever, don't want to assume in this world, and the person says, "Oh, I'm proud of you." And you're trying to give him some humanity too, and I guess he's got kids too. He's mentioned that in a couple episodes.
Well, yeah, his daughter died.
He had
his daughter died. He had a daughter. That's right. I don't know if he still has kids, or maybe he has.
Who he was texting was someone named Paula, who can only with his wife. With
his wife. So like, and so we see his motivation. I think that's kind of cool to give him some depth too, not that it's making what he does okay, because it's not. He's a dick, and we,
right.
And the show is only as good as its bad guy, and I think that's why this show is kind of good to me, because this guy is pretty evil, no matter what his motivations are. But
do you think he's gonna come over at any point? Do you think he's gonna have that empathetic moment where he's gonna say, like, okay, look, this happened to me, I may be taking it too, like, something's gonna happen where the Sentinels services is going to have to do something really effed up, and is he going to double down on that, or do you think he's going to eventually be like, okay, we've gone too far, I understand the resistance, like, where do you think his character goes?
Matt Nix is kind of famous for that on Burn Notice, of taking these characters that were actually against your good characters, and then bringing them down this path to where they turn around and they're like, oh wait, this character is actually right, and then joining them in order to help out.
Right.
Very few of the characters he made like real bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And in the series, and I'm sure Jace is going to turn around, because Colby Bell, who's the one who plays
the
Jace,
actor,
more than likely is going to be sticking around for the long run on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure he's going to turn him around.
And he was such a good guy on Burn Notice, you would think that he'd want to have him in that role at some point, like The Rock in Fast and the Furious movies or something.
Plus, I don't know if you
What an
if you watch
analogy.
Burn Notice. I mean, I saw the entire series of Burn Notice, and
Yeah,
Kobe
me too.
Dahl came in about midway through, where they basically frame his character. So he is an antagonist at some point in the show, and then he turns and helps Michael West. And
Yeah, because he goes through a similar experience, and I could see that same kind of thing happening here.
Yeah.
I was just wondering it because Gary's right; like he's very unlikable right now, and he could just be bringing us down that path that makes us think that at some point he's going to have that kind of empathetic moment, but really he's just going to double down and become worse and worse and worse. And it could go that way too. I agree with you, Dennis. I think that this is a clear. Like, I think this is very much how Matt Nix likes to bring us a flawed anti-hero into the stories, have them be the bad guy for a little while first.
Yeah.
And that's what the X-Men as a comic book turned into. It started out as just like, Magneto was just your regular villain. But as it evolved, you started seeing the Brotherhood side, and it was just two differences of opinion. One was bad. One was clearly bad, but you understood it more. And that's what television is now. There isn't like just there isn't a mustache twirling bad guy anymore. It's you always even with Game of Thrones, it was like Ramsay Bolton was it. I mean, all the other bad guys were like you rooted for half of them.
And
and I kind of like Euron, but I like him in the books more. But he's really bad. He's really, really bad, and that's why I like him. But dude, I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious they'll turn around, but it would. I think it'll be like a couple seasons if we get it. Hopefully down the road. The one thing this show is light on, and I'm saying it doesn't happen all the time, but it's talking about feelings in hallways. And now they're doing it well in this one. Yes, I have a serious problem with that. I'm just done with it. But they're using it as characterization because I'm getting to know some of the X-Men. I don't know, like this Dreamer, who's been in the background for 2 episodes, but now we find out that, and maybe we should have known this before. I didn't know if it was mentioned before that she was with Thunderbird for a little while. They were.
No, they just kind of brought that up. So
she was making googly eyes for sure for the last couple episodes, but she never really talked much. So, aside from questioning a couple decisions, she was very much in the background. And then now we find out that she has like probably the strongest power of all of them, where she can literally implant memories into people as long as they're memories that she has that she can kind of manipulate. And so it's like, okay, well, that's cool. Why weren't you there helping more the last couple days of craziness that have been going on? But anyway,
her power totally reminded me of like when my wife would like hit a bong hit and like we'd share a bong hit. This was back in the day when I used to do that kind of stuff. But purple pot smoke. I'm sure they can do that nowadays, can't they? With that synthetic weed.
Probably.
It's probably on the Inhumans.
I love that shot was so cool though, of the smoke coming out and Blink like getting incepted by Dreamer. It was cool. I liked that. It looked very, very cool.
That's a cool power, and it's really effed up how she used it. And it's really dumb how they broke up. They broke up because it became a job basically. So we're in a working relationship, so we got to break up now. It's like
she basically said if she was going to stay, they agreed that they couldn't have a relationship together because it would jeopardize the mission.
Even though Eclipse and Polaris are out there boning every night.
Such a 20-something thing to say. So it's pretty accurate. Way to overthink it, 20-something.
Yeah.
God. But yeah, her power, and they totally, telegraphed it that, maybe I should implant some memories into Blink because Blink is having some performance issues. And I love how they deal with it, though. Yes, there could be your, girl mutant blue pill analogies there. Go for it. But I love how when John, Thunderbird's name is John. Yeah,
Johnny.
Takes her out for training. She basically has to access her mutant higher power. She has to go to that's why she picked the jelly donut or whatever, and that's what in Grateful Recovering Act here.
Jelly donut.
Warm jelly donut. A friend of Bill W. here, and when some people have problem with the higher power, we always just say, well, make it a can of Coke or a doorknob or a jelly donut. So I thought that was kind of cool, little recovery reference in there. And it didn't work, of course. You can't feel that strongly about a jelly donut. But
But Dreamer made her feel strongly about Thunderbird by using her own memories of falling in love with him. And this is going to be bad going forward, man, because now Blink, Blink fell in love with this guy, and he does not feel the same way necessarily. I mean, he might, but we don't know.
And you know what he said? He's all, do you know where this could lead? And I screamed, X babies.
Yes, X babies.
That's
X babies versus Avenger babies.
Yes. Oh, I hate that fucking X babies. That comic sold a lot, though, man. It really did. It was a hot seller in San Francisco. I'll tell you that. Yeah. But yeah, so the whole scene with the brother, again, that was still overkill for me, but not that bad. It was really and then we go back to Lorna and that scene where she's trying to, or she opens the door and she does it and her nose is bleeding and she's just showing, how badass she is. And then the guard comes out and goes, how pathetic. And I was like thinking, no, she's like whittling away at you guys right now. And she's going to eventually get out.
What did you think about that, Dennis? Because she clearly knows she's not going to be able to escape. She's just doing it to see how far she can push it, right? Like, how did you feel about that? Like, what do you think that was all about?
Honestly, I understand she's like testing her abilities. I didn't get, I mean, I know she was looking around. She's like metal. Okay, I can actually try this. I can do this. And she's just pushing her powers to see if she can override the, the collar. And
the collar, yeah.
I don't know. I know where they're getting at is that she's just basically trying to build her abilities, and that's what this is going to happen. Basically, the collar, the inhibitor collar, is making her build her abilities, so that when she finally does escape or get released or something like that,
she'll be that much stronger.
She's going to be that much stronger.
Yeah, that's cool.
Going back to the chase scene, the only thing I found comical about that was missing was they were missing the hillbilly chase music.
Yeah.
Go get him. Go get him.
Yeah.
Go get him. Yeah, that was a little Dukes of Hazzard, but we got to get another Portal scene out of it, and the effects are pretty good for a Fox TV show.
Aside from the door breaking, which looked really bad, but actually kind of like comically bad, that I enjoyed it. Like I was like, okay, they knew they weren't going to be able to use their budget to make it look very good, so they just said, screw it, let's not put any money into this and use it for something else. And so it like literally looked like somebody drew pieces of wood onto film. But yeah, I actually I thought it was kind of fun, actually. It looked kind of like a drawing.
It looked 2D animation. It did.
Yeah. Speaking of bad, let's talk about one of the worst actors in this whole ensemble, Reed.
Gary. I've been saying this about this guy since True Blood.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it.
Even more. I think I don't mind the guy, but I do think he gets cast as, okay, I'm looking for a man who's forced to betray his loved ones. Because that's all he did in True Blood was he was always put in a situation where he had to fuck over his friends. Oh, damn.
Screw over his buddies.
Screw over his buddies. So he's got that like the good face of like, oh my God, I've got to betray my family, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. Because
I thought he had a look of that he had the chili con carne, and he realized it was a mistake. And now he's got excessive gas.
Yeah, he's not my favorite. But here's the thing. On a show with this many characters, like I get that he's one of the like main core characters, but on a show with this many characters and this many actors on Fox with the budget that The Gifted has, I mean, they're not working with like, Game of Thrones budget here. So I actually think that they put together a pretty skilled group. So maybe that's making him stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, they did have a really skilled group. It's just he's a bad actor. Yeah.
On the other side of it, though, Amy Acker.
I think they hired him because they can get a rogue cameo out of this. He's married to, right?
Oh, I know who he's. Yeah, I know that. I'm fairly sure. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why they hired.
And if we get that, cool, because then we can get some resolution with her character, and that Bryan Singer didn't write. That would be great.
Never.
That would be
Gary.
worth it. But Amy Acker, you were saying about Amy Acker.
Yeah, no, on the other side, Amy Acker, she's selling scenes that shouldn't be sold. I mean, like Gary said, the scene with her brother, those aren't like interesting, dynamically written scenes, but
No.
she's selling this stuff when she hugs him and she's like, I love you, but you're wrong, and then walks away. That could be like the cheesiest ending to any show ever. But like she's really good at selling that shit. I think
Also, when she wakes up with a
highlight.
knife in her hand.
Yes.
And she's like kind of waving the white knife. Oh wait, and she realized she has a knife in her hand. She's putting it down, and yeah, it could have been really bad in. Okay, let's just say the CW universe. If we had that same scene, it would have been really horrible.
No, I love that they have this standout actor in a role that is the mom without powers, right? Like she's not Blink. She doesn't have a lot of cool stuff to do surrounding her, but she's like owning her role in a way that like I think it could have been a huge failure. The show could be very different without her in that specific role, because that role, you're walking a very, very fine line. So I'm really enjoying her presence on the show, along with a lot of the other people. But I think that because her character is so relatable and has been done in so many different bad and good ways, that it's in like her take on this character is so interesting, and I'm really liking it.
See that
we love Winifred Burkle. Okay.
Yeah.
Winifred
Illyria.
That whole middle sequence with Reed making the deal with Jace to go into Tex's bar, and meeting the mom, Sheila, and her child, and that whole thing, that just seemed kind of wasted. We talk about
I like that scene. You have
really.
I liked it too.
You have heart.
I thought it was good too.
I mean,
I
the
liked
other
it.
actors were good. It's just his character again, just I don't know, kind of ruined it.
I got a backache. Oh, you fixed it. Ugh. And all she could do is mask the pain. So basically, her name is oxycodone. She doesn't kill the pain. She just masks it.
Yeah, she just
Band-Aid.
Vicodin.
Endorphin. Yeah. I don't think he's spectacular, but he didn't ruin it for me.
No.
Like going into that, I actually kind of liked the idea of it. I liked having this through the looking glass moment where he's like, these are people fighting for their family and their life, and I'm betraying so much of what my family stands for by doing what I'm about to do. And like him saying at the end, like Jace being like, you just made a huge mistake, and he said, I almost did. I loved that. I don't know. I thought it went really well. He was competent. I thought. He's standing out because I think there's a lot of good on the show, and him just being like CW worthy is making him look worse in comparison. But like I don't know. I thought it was fine. I actually really liked pretty much everything in this episode. There was very little that the drawn-on door busting open I thought was a little cheesy, and the little punk cousin who posted he felt it necessary to hide the thing from his aunt, but then he texts his friend the picture of the trophy that his mutant cousin busted up. Like, what a moron! Like
a kid would do that though.
A kid would do that.
Totally. But yes, he's a moron. Doesn't make him any less of a moron. And no, Steven, is it Stephen or Steven? Stephen Moyer is not the greatest actor in the world, but I mean, this is Fox, so like his level is, like when he's on HBO, it really stands out how bad he is. Yeah. But when he's on Fox, it's not as much.
And thank God they're actually going to pair him, next episode with Lorna.
Yeah, because she's spectacular.
She's actually the complete opposite of him. Yeah. So pairing them together, he's actually going to have to step up his game a bit in order to rise to her level, at least.
Do you guys get Jessica Jones vibes from the actress playing Polaris a little bit? Like I get like the kind of badass presence that she brings to the Defenders and to her show. I feel like, and that shit's like Marvel, Netflix, like lots of money behind it, and they've got this actress over here on The Gifted turning up, man. Like I think she's so good. Like I want to see her
in her role. Like she is all about in her role. You could tell like, okay, I'm here for a paycheck. And then there's like, I kind of like this, I respect it, but I'm not really into comics. Like, and I don't know if she reads comics or anything, but she did her research or she just got lucky and figured out the character. Either way, spot on. Great job. Hey, your friend is not doing a bad job either.
No, Jamie's
Jamie
doing
Chung.
great.
Yeah, Jamie Chung's doing well, and also the guy's playing Thunderbird. I mean, that could have been a really bad role.
He had me worried at first. That first
yes,
episode,
but he's getting better. He's getting better. You're
And
right.
I did like the whole thing about the spirit animal. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'd be afraid of your spirit animal. She goes, your spirit animal would rip your head off. That's not possible.
Nobody can rip my head off. Yeah. No, they did a good job, and they've got chemistry. Maybe I bet you that there is going to be a relationship there, because they probably tested those two actors to make sure, because they had more chemistry together than either of them have with anyone else on the show. So Jamie's been in a coma for an episode and a half, and she hasn't had a ton to do other than open up portals, But as far as he's concerned, he's been very stiff with pretty much everyone else he's acting with. But they had a lot of good stuff going on between the two of them, so I'm excited to see where they can go.
Makes you wonder.
Makes you wonder.
So, do you think the one thing about this is it's feeling very Fox, and I don't want to be a downer on it, but I don't feel the stakes yet. Do you think they'll kill somebody this episode? Like we'll lose a character in the first season?
Dreamer.
I can see Dreamer going. I can see Shatter going. Honestly, I could probably see Eclipse going. He's not a character that is. He's a bigger actor than he is a character, obviously, and I don't know. I could see Jace going, even like he came over from Burn Notice just for a season. I don't know.
I could see Reed going.
But he's just too big of a name.
You want Reed to go?
Yeah, I really do want Reed to go.
Clearly know who you want to. I'm thinking. I just what made me think of it was Thunderbird, who didn't make it out of 2 X-Men books, back in the day. So
that's the obvious.
And he just said how indestructible he is, and it's like, oh, you weren't in the comics, buddy.
Well, also,
I could see his brother show up. I could see them just use him as his twin brother and have him show up.
Oh, don't do that.
Well, last episode they also made some kind of reference to about dying. I forget what it was. It was something about how first mission. He screwed up or something. What it was, and I can't remember offhand. But it, I was like, so you're bringing that up about him dying in his first mission.
I also, like last week, we talked a little bit about how I think they're going to go with the multiple realities. They're definitely, last episode, they honed in on that one portal that Blink kept opening up in that one place. My theory was that's where she came over from another reality. I could see them killing off a character to bring in their alternate reality version or something of that nature, so that they can kill characters but not get rid of actors that they like on the show. So I could see definitely X-Men level stakes where nobody's ever really dead, but people die all the time.
Yeah, this is the Marvel Universe. Also, when Dreamer injected her memories into Blink, which doesn't sound as good as I just made it sound right there.
When she incepted Blink.
Yeah. Did it make you think a little bit what Jean Grey did to your favorite character, Iceman? A little bit?
A little bit. You mean Emma? Or
no, you don't know the rumor online what made that Jean Grey actually made Iceman gay because it was Jean Grey they used in the comic book. Like she convinced Bobby he was gay, but everybody said that she used her psychic power and actually just made him gay.
That's
like
funny.
She thought she was right, and she just accidentally made him gay.
That is so funny. Actually,
that made me think of it.
Yeah, you're right. That's
what
exactly.
if she was wrong, but the power made him. It's like, oops, sorry.
Well, hopefully, I don't understand how she can implant memories, but then not change the memories that she implants. They make it sound like once she's implanted memories, like all hell's gonna break loose, or at least that's what Johnny makes it sound like. And it's like, couldn't she just put the memories in and then go to her later and take them away? Like Blink didn't know what happened to her when she did it the first time. Seems easy.
I think what it is it's once it's in, and
you bet.
That's
what she said.
So it's not coming back out. There's no manipulating that.
Yep. Not coming back out.
So So, and I think what happens is when people start realizing that is a false memory, that they start resenting. Of course, you're the person who's implanting and fucking around with your brain. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. So next episode, we're not only getting a plastic jail, we're getting a mobile plastic jail. They're upping their plastic jail game on this show. That's interesting. No.
Yep.
But the plastic jail's inside of a metal.
Right. Vehicle.
So
Yeah.
it kind of defeats the purpose.
I like how in what was it, Days of Future Past, they fixed that and they put Magneto in concrete, like way underground. That makes way more sense than a plastic jail.
Yeah.
Although that escape in the first X-Men movie was good.
It was
did
cool.
like that scene.
Definitely
Yeah.
the best part of the movie.
And
Maybe we'll get a cool escape like that next week. I hope that they don't start using Blink as like a get out of jail free card for every single tense moment.
Yeah, that would be a problem. They need to do something to where if like her portals, are taking you to another dimension, like you are, that would be great. That would be great. Actually, that'd be really trippy. Something to do later.
Or just like she makes little portals so that you can like throw things through them and stuff, but you can't like get whole people and vehicles through. I also like how they made it like a hula hoop where you can access from both directions. I thought that was an interesting choice for the show because there's,
Yeah, I was like,
think she'd have to like run away.
How she doesn't get hit by the car afterwards, like the other one coming through. I was thinking,
right, or cut herself in half when she goes through because like she can keep the portal open long enough. Anyway,
maybe it doesn't hurt her, or it probably does. But no, I love the that will be that's going to be interesting if they don't go back on it. Like she's totally in love with Thunderbird now, and that's it. Like just deeply in love and wants to have little X babies, and that actually you could have a lot of fun with that. In a very sick way. Yep. So I'm loving this show. I am fully on board. How about you guys?
I can't wait for it every week. Like this is the show that I'm most looking forward to right now, each week to week. I like where it's going because they leave a lot of possibilities open. They don't unnecessarily close off avenues like other shows tend to do. And also I feel like they let the show run its course, but they don't, like a lot happens every episode. They don't like drag it out. And so I really like just the balance, the characterizations we're seeing, the effects are decent. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It really is like the show I've been waiting for since Angel went off the air in a big way. So I'm excited.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I'm hoping that, like you said, Gary, they increase the stakes a little bit and see what exactly that they're fighting for. And I know we get a little snippets here and there, and I know it's because of the budget, but hopefully that expands a little bit more. We get a bigger world view.
It's a really hateful world. And if this is, if you're even insinuating that this is in the Marvel universe, then I can't see how Captain America, it's the same argument I have with the comics, is I can't see how Captain America lives in this world and lets that crap happen. I can't see how Spider-Man lets that happen. The Fantastic Four lets that. They would not let that happen.
Right.
And actually, if you don't explain that, then that's why people tend to side with Magneto, because in this world, I'm siding with Magneto of screw Professor X. I'm done with these people, so there's got to be, you got to ride a line, you know what I mean? You got, and what they can probably explain is a lot of this Sentinel Services stuff is really underground and not everybody knows about it. That's why Kate is her name, Kate Strucker.
Caitlin.
That why she's having a hard time, because her whole world is broken. This is the world she's lived in her whole life, and now you're just telling her everything's wrong, full of shit. And it's like, people take time to it's hard to deal with that stuff. So I think it's the fast pace, and I love how you said Angel. It really does have an Angel feel to it, and I freaking love Angel, man. So well done, Matt and Nick. So we are happy, and we were not high on this show. Dennis and I were like thinking it was going to be crap, and very pleasantly surprised
when I saw that it was Matt Nix, and then I saw the casting choices that they had made, particularly Amy Acker and Jamie Chung. I had higher hopes than you guys for sure. I thought that creative force and at least two actors that I know I like would be enough to run the show. I'm pleasantly surprised that it's even better than I thought. Like I'm enjoying it more than I even thought I would. It's up there for me with one of those shows that just grabbed me from the beginning, and I'm, it could go downhill, but I'm really excited for where it's going as of now. That said, we're going to have a little housekeeping, and then we'll give our final thoughts and say goodbye. First things first, we just got a Patreon account. It's patreon.com/nerdrotic. We haven't set the tiers up. We're going to get those tiers set up pretty quickly. But if you want to pledge your support to us in any sort of financial way, that will be helpful. We're also going to open up a store so you can buy stuff that'll go to keeping this podcast up and running. But either way, whichever way you decide to go with Patreon or the store, it really helps us keep all of this afloat and help us, get something out of this in some way.
And you may even get John out of his smoking jacket.
Yes, I may be able to buy a real jacket to wear in a nice way.
We see who took over the Playboy Mansion.
Yes. I moved it to Tahoe. Anyway, so yeah, Patreon, the shop, check both of those things out as they launch. Patreon's already open. The shop is coming. Please head over to facebook.com/nerdrotic podcast. There you can like us over there. You can see all of our news, posting our commentary. We post links to all of our content. All of our content lives at www.nerdrotic.com. So check us out there. And right now, thank you, everyone subscribing on YouTube. We're the Nerdrotic channel on YouTube. It's been going very, very well lately. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the little alerts button. We're going to be covering The Gifted. We're already covering The Gifted, Star Trek, Mr. Robot Season 3. We're going to be adding shows for Runaways and Punisher when they launch. We've got our news show every week where we talk about everything that's happening in geek news, movies, TV, comics, and all entertainment. So check out all those shows. But the best place to find it is on our website or at YouTube at the Nerdrotic channel on YouTube. And if you just want to listen to us audio only, check us out, the Nerdrotic podcast on the iTunes podcast app or SoundCloud. I know it's a lot, but thanks for everyone who's signed up, clicked subscribe, and helped us out in all these different ways.
There'll be a test in the morning, but if you didn't get all that, all the links will be in the description.
Yes.
But, thank you, John.
I should say that first.
Yeah, and especially, since our last Star Trek video got, I hate to do this.
Let's do it.
Our last Star Trek video got demonetized for I can't even tell you, like you liked the episode, and it's not like we were, talking about anything controversial. We were talking about a Star Trek show. So, whatever, it happens. That's why we have Patreon, and we don't really, we're growing at a nice pace that we like, but it's still, if I'm going to put the commercial, they put one once in a while. If I had it my way, I would just not do ads at all and just do the Patreon thing in the store. But I think that hurts your views. So, whatever, it happens. I've appealed it. I'm sure it will, but they're taking longer to appeal. And what sucks is
basically what Gary's talking about is we got demonetized, which isn't sharing us as much. There were some sketchy comments, so be careful what you comment. We will be deleting any hate speak on our channels, just so everyone's concerned. But also, they were just looking for very strange keywords inside descriptions for like this Star Trek show.
I think it was choose your pain. I don't know, but and with the comments, I am a free speech advocate. You can say whatever the hell you want. When John is talking about hate speech, it's pretty much if you're saying the N-word or anything anti any group of people, it's just not something we want on our channel. And if you don't like that,
use your free speech somewhere else.
Please. That's it.
We're talking about fun TV. We're talking about TV and movies. We're not trying to make any sort of political statement in any way.
If you want to get down and dirty about the TV, dude, go for it. If you want to get down and dirty about us, go for it. We're not going to
tell us when we missed that a character showed up outside of Klingon makeup as a different character on the same show. That shit, we're all like, please post away when we miss those types of things. But
question our like whether we shower or not. I don't care. Talk shit about my mom. I don't care. Just because I don't want to be known as somebody who deletes comments, because it has to be really effing bad, and then I'm gonna still think about it. But there was a couple that they can't stay. You know what I mean? It's like they just can't. I can't do it. I hate doing that, but it's you come on to YouTube to talk about a television show, but I knew what I was getting into. Okay, I'm not naive here. This is the internet.
No, all we're saying
is goes down.
Use your free speech, about those about stuff that's not what we're talking about elsewhere. We want to keep our channel friendly and fun, so for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I
But the Gifted
own
is
a hair
good.
salon in San Francisco, so you might want to think how I feel about that subject. Okay. Yeah. So, Gifted, great.
Yep,
Great
I'm 2 thumbs up.
show. Well, okay, really, really, really good. I don't know about great. Really, really, really good show.
It's getting there for me.
Yeah.
Like if it stays at this consistency level over a long period of time, it's going to be, it's going to be a show that I will talk about in my favorite TV shows for sure.
Dennis,
Oh yeah, no, it was
Yeah,
good. It was
Dennis.
a lot of fun. Sorry,
still with us, buddy?
I'm still here.
Okay.
You guys are just
Did we wake
very
you?
animated. So that's all. Yeah, no, I'm having fun with it. I mean, like I said,
That's Dennis having fun, folks, by the way.
Are you liking it more than Supergirl?
Show me sexy.
no, I'm
Dennis,
not
show
liking
me
it more than
fun.
Supergirl.
You still like Supergirl more?
You like Supergirl more. This is why we have
Supergirl-
Dennis on the podcast.
Hey,
we don't
yes.
want 3 people who agree on everything. It's so
For
boring.
me,
No.
Supergirl is a different animal. It's a
Sure.
comic book show, and it's a lot more fun for me. So
That's fair. I mean, it's crazy, but it's fair.
That's cool. It's what you like, man. Not judging you a whole lot, just a little bit.
oh, you're judging me. I already know.
I'm just kidding.
You
The
can
Agents of
definitely
Shields
finger
fans, the Agents of Shields fan are gonna kill you, dude. They're gonna go, you like Supergirl, but you don't like Agents of
Yeah.
Shield. What the hell? You don't know anything.
I just look at it this way: at least Supergirl made the migration to a different network and wasn't going to be killed by its. Never mind. I'm not saying any more about that.
Well, it's got
Yeah,
more
no hate speak on this
superheroes in it. I'll give you
podcast.
that. It's got more superheroes in it than Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for coming. We already said thanks. So I'm just gonna, Dennis, take us out, man.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Bye, everybody.
Night.
Bye.